Hey, I'm Steve Ness, and today we're going to go over the buyer advisory. And what's this mean? This is actually 13 pages of goodness. So basically, it's a resource for the buyers and sellers on their real estate, especially the buyers. When you're buying a property, this is where you're going to find about 95% of your questions that are going to get answered in this document. So let's just go over here and go through this a little bit. So section 1 here is your common documents like your purchase agreement, MLS printout. This is section 1. It's going to cover your purchase contract, the MLS printouts, subdivision disclosures, seller property, covenants, HOA disclosures. I mean, all the type of stuff that you're going to need to kind of review when you're purchasing a property. And then section 2 is the common and physical conditions of the property that the buyer should uh, investigate, like, hey, repairs and remodeling, new construction, square footage, roof, types of roofing, swimming pools and spas, the different things that go on that. It's going to have all these hyperlinks that you can click on and find a lot of this information that you're going to have. Is there wells and septic on the property? Is there soil problems in the area? Uh, Pests and bugs and snakes and all that stuff. It's going to go over what you can do to eradicate those and who helps you with that type of stuff. Uh, is there any deaths or felonies on the property where you can find that information out? Mold and radiation and radon and gas and carbon monoxide, and if there was a drug lab on it previously, you can find all this stuff out in section 2. Section 3 is going to be the conditions that affect the area and the surrounding property should the buyer investigate environmental concerns, electrical fields, Superfund sites in the past or currently. Is there any freeway construction that is going to be coming up? Are they going to put a freeway behind you? Crime statistics, sex offenders, uh, just military zones, schools, the city profile report. All this stuff is in there. And then section 4 is methods of getting information about the property, driving the neighborhood, talking to the neighbors, and investigating your surroundings. So section 5 is the resources. You can go through all that. So uh, the documents that a buyer should review, definitely the purchase contract, number one thing. Um, MLS printout, should always get a copy of that. Uh, the subdivision report, it's a public report, you can get that. And then there's the seller property disclosure statement. We call them SPUDs here in Arizona. This is where you're going to go back and forth with the seller and negotiate with them if there's something wrong with the property. Either they're going to probably give you a credit or they're going to fix it. And uh, how's that work? It's not a bad idea to review that. There's a hyperlink down in here too. So I would definitely go through that too, and make sure you're very familiar with that. Conveyance and conditions and restrictions on the CC&Rs. Hey, you want to make sure that you're getting an HOA that you can live with. Some HOAs are a little bit more restrictive than others, especially when it comes to parking vehicles on the street or close to the street, RVs showing over the gate. Those little things, dogs, cats, any of that type of stuff, there might be some restrictions on some of that stuff. So you want to be well advised and ask for the CC&Rs if you're buying something that has a HOA. Homeowners Association governing documents. Like I said, that's the CCNRs. There's HOA disclosures. There's community facility districts that you can take a look at, home warranty policies, loan document information. You want to definitely know if you're getting a loan, what's in that loan. Take your time, read that. And then title report and commitment. You're going to get sent that. Make sure you go through that. Make sure there's no other liens on the property. You're not taking over somebody else's headache in there. And then affidavit of disclosures, lead paint, professional spec. Why can't I talk today? Professional inspection report. Make sure that you get a inspection report. Even if you can do everything yourself, there are things that can come up and can come and bite you in the butt later. So I always tell everybody, just spend the money, get a inspection of the house. It'll save you money down the road. Termites, we have them here in Arizona. If you're not familiar and you're from the Midwest like I was, um, termites aren't a big thing. There's termites. There's subterranean termites. They're easy to deal with. You find them, you treat them, and they're done. And you're going to have to do that over and over and over every couple of years. It's just part of being in a warmer climate. They're not eating away super fast at your house. The only thing that they're doing is they're going after damp wood. That's what they go after. So if you have damp wood around the base of the house or a leak in the bathrooms and stuff like that, that's where they're going to attack. And they're very easy to spot. They'll create these little tubes. Anyway, I'm getting off subject, but it's an important thing to realize. It's not a big deal. Get them treated. Just deal with it. But you're gonna. We have a saying down here: if you don't have termites, it's just a matter of when you have termites. So treat your house. And then it'll go over foreign investment, real estate property taxes. Um, if you're a foreigner and you're buying, you're gonna pay some additional fees, repairs, remodeling, conditions, um, roofing. These are the things that you should investigate before purchasing the house, especially when you get the inspection. It's going to go through a lot of that stuff. But the roof down here, you're going to have two types of roof. You're going to have the asphalt roof, or you're going to have a tile roof, or you're going to have actually a flat roof too. There's pros and cons of all of them. Roofing, the tile roof, the tiles will last forever. It's the underlayment that gets old and brittle and needs to be replaced. The tiles themselves on a tile roof never have to be replaced unless they're broken. But about every 15 years, you should get new underlayment on your roof. Flat roofs, they're usually foam, and that foam starts to degrade and stuff like that. About every 5 years, you should have somebody go up there and inspect it and make sure that either it's repaired, refoamed, or a new bladder. Sometimes they'll put rubber bladders on some of the flat roofs too and inspect those if you have a leak. The other ones are the asphalt shingles. Asphalt shingles down here, even though that, if you're from the Midwest, you're used to 25 and 30-year shingles. Down here, the sun beats on them a little more. 15 years is kind of the what you're going to be able to get out of them. So have those inspected. Same thing. They have an underlayment underneath them, but asphalt shingles, you're going to replace the entire shingle and the underlayment. But that should get looked at too. So if the roof looks old, you know, uh, get it checked out. Swimming pools. The biggest thing with swimming pools might be the cracks and stuff and around the coping and make sure that there's no leaks. And then septic on site. Not a ton of that stuff anymore. Just depends on the location and the area. Farther out in Scottsdale, where you have a little bit more acreage, they do have some septics. In town, most stuff's all hooked up to city sewer and water now. But at farther away you get away from the metro area and you have more over an acre, you're going to run into the septic and wells. Kind of know your square footage. Um, Pests, rattlesnakes, spiders, scorpions. So I've been down here 5 years. I have yet to see a live scorpion. Uh, Probably because of the area that I live in. There's not a lot of scorpions in the area that I live in. Snakes. Only time I've seen a rattlesnake is actually on the golf courses, and they're kind of cool. They don't bother you long as you don't bother them. Uh, eh, Other things, yeah, black widow spiders. I've never seen a black widow spider, but I'm sure they're out there. Just learn what they are, and stay away from them because they're not good. Uh, Bed bugs, as long as you're, yeah, I haven't run across them, but I'm sure they're out there. Roof rats. Roof rats you're going to find when there's citrus trees, especially orange trees. And everybody from the Midwest wants to come down here and they want to buy something with an orange tree. I did. I wanted a lemon tree. I wanted an orange tree. I wanted a lime tree. And with that, if you're not picking up the fruit, you're going to get roof rats. Roof rats are a small little rat that likes to eat fruit, and it lives in trees. And the, the reason why they call them roof rats is you hear them on the roof zipping around because you have the tile roofs. Most of the houses down here have tile roofs. You can hear them, and they're hopping from tree to tree basically, and they live in palm trees for the most part. All right. Let's talk about soil problems. Soil problems. The soil down here is a little different than if you're used to the Midwest. The soil down here is what they call caliche, hard to dig in. It's like concrete. So um, it's a different animal. It's not like the black topsoil that you may be used to. But you'd think that, hey, how does anything ever grow in this? It's like concrete and it's brown. It's not black and rich. I tell you what, you give anything water down here, it's going to grow. I mean, it's amazing how fast stuff grows down here. It blew my mind. But it is definitely hard to dig in, and it gets very slippery when it gets wet. It's clay and it's slick. So when it rains, you have a lot of this dust on the roads and stuff like that. It's not as bad as black ice, but it does get slippery, uh, especially if you're on a gravel road and stuff like that. Just be aware of that. But um, there's some other things that you might want to check out about different soil problems and stuff like that. The biggest thing is making sure it's not contaminated. All right. Uh, there's areas in here if you wanted to find out if there is a death, on the property. There's a link right here that you can go and check out. Um, if there is indoor environmental concerns, there's some links down in here that you can go check out. Property boundaries. Here's another link that you can go check out, um, and that's going to be on your title report too. So there's some great links in here that you can click on it. It's a live link that I'm going to be sending you on this buyer advisory. So it's really important to go check out some of these things. Flood. So uh, when it rains, there's flash floods down here, and you want to make sure that you're aware if you're in a floodplain. So check the stuff out. Um, just don't be in any draws. Don't be in any low areas if it rains. I mean, it doesn't rain a lot down here, but when it does, it might not seem like a lot of rain, but the ground is so hard it doesn't soak in. It all funnels to these washes. And when you kind of go out in the desert and you start seeing some of these washes, how deep they are, and you can tell how fast the water's come through just by just looking at the wash, and how much dirt it's moved. That's why when you're in the city, you'll see areas that the city's actually made man-made washes. They're concrete, and they funnel the waterway into the retention ponds and stuff like that. But just don't get caught out in an area that you get yourself in trouble. Let's see. If you want to find out if there's a sex vendor close to the area, here's a link there uh, for areas. This area here that we're in, Scottsdale, Phoenix, you don't have a lot of forests. Other parts of the state, it's very densely forested. You can, it's amazing. This Arizona has uh, a wide range of landscapes and everything from forest to desert to high desert to, I mean, it's, lowland, highland, mountains, you know, it's crazy, but fun state. Electrical magnetic fields. I haven't never run into any of that stuff, but here you go. Super fun sites. Um, Link right there. Freeway construction and conditions. Freeways out here are actually really nice. A lot of people complain about traffic. I don't ever. The rush hour is a little different down here than some other areas. Uh, it starts a little earlier, and then you're up to, if you're in the Midwest, just probably because um, the workers start. I mean, the day starts at 5 in the morning for a lot of people down here. So, and they get done by 2. It's because of the heat conditions in the summer time. They get used to, and they're smart. They work when it's the cooler part of the day. So rush hours are a little different. They're not as bad as what some people complain. Plus, there's not a lot of barriers besides a couple mountains that you have, but there's not rivers all over the place that you got to travel, 20 miles out of the way to get across the damn river. So um, I love the freeways. They're nice and clean. They're wide. They're big. They'll get you where you want to go. But they probably be building some more. So check this site out. See if they're going to build one close to your property. Crime statistics right here. Um, Zoning, neighborhood services, city profile report, your schools. There you go. If you have kids in school, schools, there's good schools and there are bad schools everywhere in the country. Just check this out. There's there's some ratings in there. You can kind of find out if you're in a good area for schooling or not. All right. Another thing to do is drive the neighborhood um, before you buy. Make sure it's something that you like. Now, I work with a lot of out of state buyers. I do that for them. I'll get on a Zoom call, or if you have a phone, an iPhone, uh, I'll FaceTime you, and I'll drive the neighborhood and just show you what the pros and cons of the neighborhood are, and so you can get a feel if you're buying something sight unseen. And trust me, that happens quite a bit down here. If somebody's buying a second home, or or someplace that they're gonna retire to, snowbird to, or move here permanently, I've sold quite a few basically without them seeing it until the moving truck pulls up. So it kind of freaks me out, but I do a really good job of showing that area. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing good on time. Talk to the neighbors. As a real estate agent, I love going talking to the neighbors in the neighborhood because I find out the scoop, and usually I'll get one or two listings out of it too. But uh, it's it's not a bad idea to go talk to your neighbors, and make friends right away. And then Google Earth, right over here. That Google Earth, the property, shows you a lot of stuff. Uh, you can see in the backyard of people's yards, with Google Earth. So it's it's a good tool. Um, all right, market conditions. uh, they go up, they go down. Just be aware of, that happens. Uh, Different areas might be a little hotter than others, where they're going up faster than others. Some areas may be declining because what's happening in that neighborhood. So just kind of be aware of that. The other thing I want to talk about is wire fraud. Um, Make sure when you purchase the house that you're talking to your title uh, person, and that closer's giving you the wiring instructions. Reconfirm over the phone the wiring instructions verbatim before you give them to your bank, and then make sure your bank calls and reconfirms them too, because there is wire fraud that happens. You don't want to send hundreds of thousands of dollars to somebody that doesn't deserve it. All right. Fair housing laws. There's no discrimination. Hopefully, everybody knows that. And uh, go through this, and we actually have you sign it. So, I mean, just don't sign it. Actually, go through, look at some of this stuff, read through it. And I hope that you find this video helpful. I know I kind of rambled a little bit on some of the stuff here, but um, 95% of your questions can get answered right on this document, especially with these live links. It's really slick just to click on them. And hey, if you're not a client of mine and you want to see this, just send me a text message. Hey, I want to take a look at the buyer advisory. I'm happy to email it over to you. Till then, I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.